Yes. Good evening, y'all. I apologize for being late. Okay, let me just pop out this chat room. I know I decided to do this live at the last minute just because we got more information in regards to Wendy Williams and her brother. She addressed it again on her daytime talk show this morning. And I posted a couple of those clips on my TikTok. If you're not following me, it's at TheKempire. Link will be available in our description. But there were more stories that I wanted to talk about before we get into the whole Wendy Williams versus her brother again. That story alone is just like, I've gone through the motions with this story. Hey, Tamisha, what's going on in the chat room? I see everyone in the chat room. I was going to go live on TikTok as well, but that's just way too many things to be doing at the same time. I'm your boy, TheKempire. As I said before, you can definitely follow me on my social media so you get on the clock breaking entertainment news and Real Housewives information. I was literally just making a TikTok just now. Hey, Danielle, what's going on? I'm just talking to everyone in the chat. So there's a few stories that I want to talk about. You know, I went live. Well, I didn't go live this morning. Yesterday I went live, but also I released a video this morning showing some footage in regards to Wendy Williams addressing her brother for the very first time. And then he addressed her addressing him on his YouTube live last night. I shared that video as well. And I have to say, I've been going through the motions with this story, but after hearing Wendy's explanation this morning, I was sort of like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But we'll get into that story in a second. There's just so many different things to talk about that I don't want to just, go too far too soon. First of all, I don't know if you guys have been following this Omarion, well, B2K. They're back in the news. And Omarion's brother, Orion, actually shared a really interesting response on his Instagram because raz-b has been making the news the I think since yesterday, and well, he's been making the news for a very long time. However, he's always accused Chris Stokes of molesting him and others. However, that sort of died down. He hadn't brought it up in a very long time, and now he's bringing it up again. And he has asked Chris Stokes to take a polygraph test. Well, in Omarion's brother Orion's Instagram post, and let me see if I can call this up for you guys so you can actually see the Instagram post because it's worth seeing. Let me see. I have way too many windows open. Thank you. So this was the Instagram post that Orion posted on his Instagram. Father and daughter, 365 days. First of all, I forgot that Omarion had a brother, and I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, Chris Stokes, who's still a free man, despite all the rumors over the last few years, posted, a couple of emojis. But Orion responded to him and said, in caps, take the polygraph with eyes, which I thought was interesting because Omarion hasn't really spoken out about this. It's always been raz-b, and I feel like raz-b has suffered a lot because of whatever distress or abuse that he actually went through during his days of living with Chris Stokes or during his days in the entertainment business. Yes, there have been other issues with raz-b in regards to him allegedly, I don't know if I should say, I'm going to say allegedly, physically assaulting his wife. But there have been other things over the last few years. However, it was interesting to see that Orion made that sort of statement, but Chris Stokes didn't respond that I know of. In other news, as you know, I love the Real Housewives. Atlanta is a little dry this season, but I'm still watching because I gotta stay abreast to what's going on in Atlanta. And I did a few TikTok videos just recapping some of my favorite moments. And one of the things that I said in my TikTok was, it was interesting that Kandi said during her Kandi Cares moment that some of the housewives were more generous than others. And she was actually surprised at how not generous some others were. Well, on Kandi Speak on It, Don Juan should be a housewife. Let's just say it. Don Juan should be a housewife because Don Juan gives it Don Juan's been in Candy's life for I don't know how many, like almost 20 years. And every time he's on camera, he doesn't hold back. And I love that about him. Honestly, I feel like Candy's the same way, but Candy is just not mean-spirited. Don Juan just has that, he's got that slick talk, which I appreciate. I would actually appreciate him being on The Real Housewives of Atlanta right now because they need something. Well, anyways, during her speak on it, they were talking about that statement that she made in regards to who gave what. And Candy did specifically say, you know, Marlo gave $5,000. She said that Portia gave $5,000 and showed up. Marlo even went with her early in the morning that day to get the produce and things like that. Marlo, just saying. It may have been the billionaire's $5,000, but at least she gave it. At least she's charitable. Just saying. Anyways, this is what Don Juan says in this YouTube series, Speak on It. If you don't follow Candy on her YouTube series, she'd speak, you know, during the season, she has a variety of people from Atlanta, you know, that are part of the show, or, you know, whoever she saw. It's her YouTube show, much like what we do here on TheKempire Live. However, she had Don Juan on this week, and this is an exact quote to what Don Juan said. He said, "Oh, I can buy ice sculptures for an event, but I can't feed some people." First of all, he was referring to, if you're not watching Atlanta, he was referring to Kenya throwing Cynthia an engagement party where they had the ice sculpture. First of all, I do think it's interesting that Kenya, I don't, you know, there are going to be a lot of blogs that are going to be hating on Kenya right now. They're going to say she's broke. But I'm really interested to know, how is Kenya making her money now besides reality TV? Yes, we know she has Kenya Moore hair care, and I believe it's in more, you know, beauty supply stores now. But is that a multi-million-dollar business for her? So it made me go on a deep dive, and I said, how much is Kenya worth? And look, I know celebrity net worth is usually very much off. But usually they elevate people's net worth, not lower them. And according to Celebrity Net Worth, her net worth is $800,000. I thought she would have at least been in the millions, at least. But I'm not counting her coins, but I do find it interesting. I wonder how much did she donate, if she donated, because Candy didn't really say. She's just said, you know, she would have thought people would have been a little bit more, you know, what's the word? Generous, coming from certain means. And mind you, Don Juan brought up a really good issue. Candy really shows up, not just for her friends and family, but also for these other housewives, you know, for their events, for donating and things like that. So I thought it was interesting. This is supposed to be a good friend, you know, especially in the last couple of seasons. Candy and Kenya have really bonded, and Candy's really been there for Kenya through all her situations. So what's interesting for me to see that she wouldn't donate, but at the same time, if you make a donation and you don't know what other people are donating, sometimes you don't really know how much you would donate. I mean, was there a request? Like, you know, if you could donate 5,000, that would be ideal, because somebody could donate $1,000 thinking that's good enough, and other people start donating and you're like, oh, damn, maybe I should have donated more. I mean, I've been in situations like that before. You know, I like to be overly generous, but that could be the Taurus in me. But at the same time, you never know. Like, how much do you donate to something like that? It doesn't mean that Kenya doesn't have $5,000 in her bank account. But I mean, at least she shows up. And when she shows up, she's serious about her charity work. You know, we saw the clip when it flashed back a few years ago. Shout out to Danielle in the chat room. She says, Candy always shows up for everyone's events. And it has taken a toll on her marriage. And this is true. That last season we saw that Candy and Todd were having issues because Candy was trying to show up for everyone, yet her family needed her more, needed her to be around more. And I know Candy takes care of, and that's something else Candy said during this episode, is that she takes care of a lot of people, not just her family, but other people outside of her family she also takes care of. But like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind in regards to Kenya, because like I said, maybe Kenya donated early and she thought that was enough, not knowing what that enough was, because Candy never said. Candy said, well, she donated 2,000. I mean, is that generous? I mean, I think that's generous, but part of me thinks it might have been very low, maybe under maybe $500. But maybe she didn't think that $5,000 was it. But we have to think this was taped a couple of months ago or several months ago. After seeing someone like Marlo or after seeing someone like Portia donate $5,000, that might make you be like, oh, damn, girl. I think knowing me, I'm like, oh, damn, girl, I need to give you some more money. Like after this event, I'm going to write you a check for some more money. But then again, we don't know people's financial situations. You have people driving nice cars, have this house, live in this, have name brand, this and that. But are they really living as large as they portray to be? I think during this pandemic, we've noticed that there are a lot of people that need to be touring, that need to be working, even though they portray like they are living this $1 million life. And like I said, celebrity net worth online is not accurate. According to Danielle in the chat, shout out to Danielle, she says, at the end of the day, any donation is a write-off and 5K is easy for them. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But like I said, if Kenya was the first one to donate, then maybe she thought that was enough. Maybe she thought, 1,000 was enough. And then seeing everyone else. And some people aren't moved by other people donating because then they're like, okay, I'm not giving from an authentic place if I'm just donating because I want to, match what Portia's doing or match what Marlo's doing. I don't know. But also, Kenya has a new baby. Kenya is literally in the middle of a possible divorce. She's estranged from her husband. Who knows? I don't like to count people's money, but I thought it was interesting, but I immediately thought it was Kenya when Candy said there were some people that weren't as generous as others. And I have to say, Portia, everyone likes to say Portia, went after Dennis for, because he had all these businesses and he has money. Don't miss out on our girl Portia. Our girl Portia is doing big things with that hair and that sheet line, and of course the show. And she has multiple shows. She's got Dish Nation. She's got the chat room. Portia is doing it for herself, and I'm actually happy for Portia. So kudos to her. But let's get to the real reason why I wanted to go live tonight. And that was because this ongoing story with Wendy Williams and her brother is still happening. Today, she addressed it again because her brother had responded last night, and he pretty much, in a 6-minute video, and if you haven't seen it, check my TikTok at TheKempire. And he pretty much says, why weren't you at the funeral? In the explanation during Hot Topics this morning, Wendy didn't say funeral. She said services, which makes me lead me to believe, okay, so you didn't go to the funeral? Because the wake and the funeral could be, the services. I don't know. But that's not the important part of this. This morning, Wendy actually revealed that the reason why she's having issues with her brother is because he was fighting another family member at the funeral, like a physical fight, and to the point where there had to be people by her mother's casket in order to prevent it from tumbling over. No, she didn't give specific details who this other family member was, but she said it was a family member. She said that Big Kev was there. She also said that her little son Kev was in the back studying. And I saw a lot of comments on my TikTok of people criticizing little Kev for studying. Y'all do realize that although you may have a loved one pass away, colleges don't let you just not get work done. You still have to take your midterms. You still have to take your finals. I found that to be interesting. I mean, some people feel differently. I just that to me is not the story. Anyway, she says in this, in the Hot Topics that during this time, Big Kev asked her if she was okay because she said she was in the back with Lil Kev. She was not trying to deal with that whole situation. Her sister Wanda was trying to take care of everything as the big sister usually does. And she also went on to say that Kevin, aka Kelvin, fight me. That's his birth name. She said that he really stepped up that day and he asked her if she wanted him to get involved. And they pretty much agreed like he should go up there and stop it because everyone else there just wouldn't be able to stop something like that physically. And look, I get it. When it comes to family, choosing your family, sometimes when you marry someone, that becomes your family. Even if you end up divorced, those people understand your family dynamic. They understand your siblings. They understand the issues that you've had over the years. We rarely hear Wendy talk about her brother. If anyone she talks about, is she talks about her niece and nephew. She talks about her sister, who was the mother of her niece and nephew, and she talks about her immediate family, like her mom and dad, and Kevin and Lil Kev. She's never really talked about her brother. I remember in the radio days, she talked about her brother. That's how I kind of knew she had a brother that was a teacher. But then she also revealed during this episode. So she said, yeah, Big Kev broke up the fight. She pretty much was just devastated by the whole situation. Then she said to her son, you understand that we're not getting back together. Yeah, we can be cool and civilized, but we're not getting back together. And she said, would you want us to go out? Because after everything, I guess you maybe felt inclined to go out to lunch. And I know a lot of people make a big story of this is Wendy getting back with Big Kev. I'll get to that. But at the same time, as a parent, I'm not a parent. However, I'm thinking like a parent. You see your son just lost his parents. This divorce is very recent. You see this whole situation going on. This man has stepped up for you. I can see a woman get in her feelings and saying, you know what? Let's go out to lunch. Let's make peace. She's always said, that's still going to be, Lil Kev's father. And she's also known, in recent interviews that Wendy has done, she's also known that Big Kev has been a serial cheater. And she's accepted it until he ended up with a baby. So to me, she broke up with him. However, she wasn't in a terrible place with him at this point. So this is how she explains why they went out to lunch. But she doesn't give us a timeline because we know she attended the wake services, but we don't know if she attended the funeral. Now I'm wondering if the reason why she didn't want to attend the funeral was because of everything that happened at the wake. That would make sense. But it also makes sense where maybe she's like, I can't do this. I can't see my mother like this. She also said that she spoke with her father about this, and she says that her father said you did the right thing in regards to coming on television and not attending whatever. She didn't go into what they went, she just said that he said that she did the right thing. Anyways, let's see what the chat is saying. Do we really believe what Wendy says? She's the same person who lied about when her mom passed away. She's always been kind of shady with T about her. Good point. Thank you, Danielle, for reminding me that. And then it's the other side of it. I'm sort of like, okay, Wendy, but even with the story that she gave, it doesn't really give us a lot of information because we don't know. Okay, when you say services, it could mean the wake. It could mean the funeral. We're not sure. If she didn't want to attend the funeral, I feel like she should just be like, I didn't want to attend the funeral after this particular situation happened. But regardless of that, I did notice that Tommy Williams, her brother, did leave out that piece of information in regards to this fight that he had. I'm not sure. Maybe he could be on YouTube right now. Maybe he won't come live with me and explain that part of it. Maybe he'll explain that part of it tonight. But Danielle's right. It's just interesting, and I think that's why people find it hard to believe, is that Wendy really played it off. She played off the whole marriage situation, the whole serial cheating situation, up until after it was revealed from bloggers. Mind you, someone is a gossip or, she's not a blogger, but she's been doing this for a very long time and telling people's tea. You think she'd be a little bit more forthcoming, and she has been. If you read her books, you know that she's been very forthcoming. But when all this stuff was going down, it still makes me wonder why she wouldn't be a little bit more transparent. And then even up until recently, lying about when your mother passed, that was weird. It was sort of like, why would you lie about something like that? That's nothing to really lie about. We can understand you trying to cover up the whole Kevin situation, but lying about when your mother passed away, that was very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But as I said to you before, in regards to the story, I'm over it. I know everyone else is sort of, they can't go back and forth. According to Wendy, she's not going to talk about this anymore, but she did say that yesterday, unless her brother drops some more tea tonight. She did reveal, though, in regards to Tommy, that he had reached out to Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne and Wendy started out well, they didn't start out. She gave him his break here in New York City, and then they had a big falling out because of Big Kev. Anyway, she says that Tommy had reached out to Charlemagne several years ago, waited for hours outside the radio station of the Breakfast Club, and supposedly was trying to give something to Charlemagne, but Charlemagne didn't even like what he had to say, so he reached out to Big Kev at the time to let him know that, Tommy's reaching out to me, he's saying this, he's saying that. So this explains why we probably don't hear a lot from Tommy when it comes to Wendy. I mean, we don't hear a lot from Wendy when it comes to Tommy, but I'm waiting to hear what Charlemagne says. I want to hear if Charlemagne confirms what Wendy said this morning, because that would be interesting, because Charlemagne's not going to lie. He has no reason to lie. But he did say, in regards to this whole story before she released this, is that they both should just end it because they both have dirt on each other. So I don't know. We'll be following this story. In the chat room, Anita says she's lying. She only went to the wake. She's hateful as hell to her mom. I mean, here's the thing, and a lot of people can relate to this. Every family's dynamic is different. Every family's relationship is different. We don't know what went on. If according to Wendy, this transpired before, I can understand maybe not wanting to be around family if it's going to be drama all the time. Everyone can't deal with funerals. Some people don't even go to funerals, period. I'm not going to sit here and judge her in regards to if or not she went to the funeral or not, but it is what it is. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat before we go. I decided to go live at the last minute because I wanted to talk about the story. Oh, shout out to Gabrielle. I know that name. Welcome. I'm going to make sure I follow you here. Well, as always, guys, I posted a video earlier today. Check that out. Check out all the videos. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's continue the conversation, as always, in the comments. I'll see you maybe tomorrow. You never know. The way this news is going,